Done. Done.
Okay, our Padlet link is in the chat area if you wish to look at the Padlet. Okay, today we're going to do assignment 8 because we missed that last week because of Hurricane Irma. So let's take a look at the questions for assignment 8. Okay. Okay, in this chapter, we had the ceremony of 12s and everyone got their assignments. We learned last time that Jonas was skipped for some reason in the sequence, and the chief elder apologized for, maybe that was this chapter, apologized for skipping him. So in this chapter, Jonas was not given an assignment per se. He was selected. What does that mean? Can anyone hear me?
Yes, we heard you.
Okay. So explain why he was selected rather than assigned.
Well, I think he was assigned because he is, he has specific characteristics. So to how to explain you? It's something similar when a person is in an interview. You select the best candidates for that. So in resume, I don't know how to explain you.
Okay.
I have the idea.
Okay, but Vasanth, can you maybe explain the difference in an assignment and a selection?
Yes, assignment means something lower, but selection can mean something in a higher position, who can manage us, who can manage the people, the community. So I think selection can be like a higher position of the community.
Okay, I look at it this way. Oops, I messed up. An assignment is like a job. 8 hours a day. You go to work, you come home, your assignment's finished. So an assignment's like a job. You work 8 hours a day, and when you're not working, you're free to do, whatever you want. A selection, you're selected to be the chief elder or the receiver of memories or something. So when you're selected, that's not an 8 hour a day job. That's your title, that's your position forever. 24 hours a day, every day of the year, you are the receiver. You are the chief elder. So a selection is more a responsibility given to you that you always have all the time. So I look at it that way. You go to work to go to your assignment, but you don't go to work to be the receiver. You are the receiver. So it's kind of like being the president. The president might work 8 hours a day, but he's always the president. You know what I mean? So it's a selection's kind of like a title that really governs your lifestyle. You have to live, eat, and breathe that responsibility. You don't do it 8 hours a day. You do it every minute of the year. So
Okay.
That's kind of how I viewed it. That's why they don't call it an assignment. They call it a selection. Okay. Okay. So what was Jonas's new position or new job or new assignment? What was his selection?
He was selected as a new receiver of memory.
All right. And how many receivers of memory are there in this society?
Just one.
Just one, okay? So he's got kind of a unique selection, okay? A unique position, all right? What qualities are felt to be necessary to be a receiver? Vasant?
Yes, it's intelligence and integrity, courage, wisdom, and finally, the most important one, the capacity to see beyond.
Okay. Okay, and I put that in quote marks because no one really knows what that means. That's something that only the receiver can understand. If you can't see beyond, you don't really know what it means. Okay. Tario, can you explain the capacity to see beyond? What does that mean to you?
Well, I think is something similar what happened with the Apple event. So he can hold the apple and see something different on the apple. So no one around him can see the colors on the specific characteristics of the apple. So this capacity is to see something more beyond that is happening around you.
Okay, so he can physically see things that other people can't see. So he can see beyond their visual dimension, if you will.
Yeah, so I think it's something similar when you are playing chess. You are moving the specific, movements, and when you try to predict the opponent's movements, something probably is a capacity of the jump.
Okay, very similar. Okay, looking at what might be or what the possibilities are.
Yes.
Okay, the ramifications of moving this piece, what can happen in response to that. You can see it in your mind, maybe. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, good. Okay, next question, Vasant. How did the audience react when they heard Jonas's assignment as the new receiver?
They gasped. Yeah. Astonishment.
Okay.
Like inhale, I think.
Okay. Why is that? Why were they shocked?
Yeah, because they haven't heard such a word selected, because they have been hearing people are getting assigned for a specific job, but this time Jonas was selected for a position, so they're shocked. Yeah, I think that's it.
Okay, so it's a very rare occurrence. Do we know when the last receiver was selected? Have we had that yet?
Yes, they mentioned that, and it was a failure. So
did it say how many? Okay. Did it say how many years ago?
Sorry, I don't remember.
10 years ago, when Jonas was a toddler.
Okay, so 10 years ago. So one time in 10 years, someone was selected to be a new receiver. So it's pretty rare. And so Taria, why else do you think everyone was shocked besides just the fact that it didn't happen often and it was unexpected?
Well, I think it was a surprise because 10 years ago they named the old receiver. So yes, I don't know exactly what is shocked. Probably I think it's a surprise, but I don't know if he's shocked.
Okay, surprise. Okay, all right. Is it a prestigious position or a low-level position?
No, the receiver of memory is the most honorable position in a community. So it's the highest levels. It's kind of is a president, a first minister. It could be a king in our present time. So it's the highest level.
Okay, so here, ordinary Jonas, buddy, friend, suddenly he's been elevated from a 12-year-old nobody to the highest position in the community, the most important elder. So I think that's maybe why there was some shock. It's like, whoa, he suddenly got promoted to the same level as the president, you know? So, and he's just an ordinary guy like they are. So I think that's why some of the shock, maybe. Okay. He went from nobody to the guy, you know? All right.
Probably the people and Jonas himself, they didn't see the coming kind of new receiver. So probably it was the shock. When you said before, it's a playful, he was just Jonas, and they did believe in something, a new receiver is coming now.
Okay.
All
right. How did he feel about this new job or new selection of his now that he finally knew what it was? Vasant?
Initially, he thought that he was not the right guy to take that position, but later, when the chief elder mentioned about seeing beyond, so he somehow he realized that, okay, I can understand what you are talking about, because I just witnessed it just now. I see the audience, so that anomaly happened to me. So I think now I'm the right guy. That's like that.
Okay, so he thought, me, receiver? I don't know anything about being the receiver, but then he remembered the Apple incident, the audience. Well, maybe I can see beyond. Maybe I am qualified and I don't know it. Okay. Daryl, any comments? Any other feelings he had about the job?
Well, he was a surprise because he didn't believe he didn't believe he has the characteristics for the to be the receiver of memory. So it was a big surprise. When he received when he heard the great news, he's, oh my goodness, it cannot be possible. So it's, wow, probably it can be right, she can be right, but he didn't know yet.
Okay. What did he know at this time about the receiver's lifestyle? Did he know anything about how the receiver lived?
No, they doesn't know anything about it.
Nothing yet. Okay.
No. Right. So I think the chief elder, she said something about the loneliness and to feel pain, but nobody's know.
Okay, so it had a lot of respect and prestige, but then she says, well, you're going to be lonely and feel pain. So now it's like, do I want this job or not? Okay. All right. So it has pros and cons, it seems like. All right. All right. Describe the elders' organization or structure. This is the committee of elders in this community. Vasant, how would you describe the government of this community?
I think the chief elder is the highest position, and there are some other people like the management panel, but as for now, we haven't known much about the other people. It's the highest position, the chief elder's position. Then after that, the receiver of memory, I think he is one of the important person in this community, like an internal, external affairs minister in a government like that.
Okay, so it looks like the chief elder's kind of like the boss. He presides over the committee and kind of maybe tells people what to do and makes some decisions. But somehow the receiver is also important. Do we remember any particular areas where the receiver was the final decision maker instead of the chief elder? Tario?
Well, I think when it was the issue of the bicycle, when the younger sister and brother can ride the bike, and the old people were saying, it can be up to make a new rule about the bike. So I think Jonas thought that the elder can be to change the rules, but not at all, because it was a small, a low level issue to break to rechange.
Okay, so the committee can make most changes, but if it's an important rule change, the receiver's got to approve it, right?
Yeah. So
Okay.
just the receiver, he takes the responsibility of the most important actions in the community, but he or she can be annoyed for low level issues or problems in the community.
Okay, I'm going to paste that paragraph that you were talking about here. This is the paragraph. It's on page 6. Vasant, would you read this for us, please?
Yes, okay. Rules were very hard to change. Sometimes, if it was a very important rule, unlike the one governing the age of bicycles, it would have to go, eventually, to the receiver for a decision. Was the most important elder. Jonas had never seen him that he knew of someone in a position of such importance lived and worked alone. But the committee would never bother the receiver with a question about bicycles. They would simply fret and argue about it themselves for years, until the citizens forgot that it had ever gone to them for study.
Okay, so the receiver has to approve any important rule changes. The committee can take care of less important rule changes. So from this, Jonas did know that the receiver lived alone and worked alone. So he may or may not, when he was assigned as the new receiver, he may or may not have been happy knowing that he would now be living alone and working alone. So that may have been another consideration for him. Do I want this job or not? Okay. Tariel, anything to add?
No, really.
That's pretty much what you said. Okay.
Well, more or less, yeah.
All right. Okay. Let's see. Let's look at the critical thinking questions. The first one is, what do you think the selection of receiver of memory might mean? Do you have any idea what that position involves at this point? Either of you?
It can be like a storage of memory, because they release people time to time, so they have to store their memory and their ideas. So I think they use, I think they don't trust machines to store such memory of a human. So I think they select a human for storing the memory of the people.
Okay, so when people die, their memories go with them, and people aren't allowed to have books that we've seen yet. So how do people remember stuff? So maybe this receiver of memory somehow is the storage for past history. Tariel, any other thoughts about what a receiver of memories might be?
Well, I agree with Basan. I think is the most honorable person in the community. So he has the old history in the old people. I mean, is since the community was rising and the people, was born, they have family units, they have kids. So the receiver has the all history about the community. Is something similar, and Disney movie is Wall-E. So the captain received kind of manual with the all history about the earth. So something is called the receiver. He can something manual, probably a tutorial. I don't know. So it's all history, It's everything.
Okay.
The good memories, bad memories, the sin of the people. So everything is in this person.
Okay. Vasant?
Yes, I think as what we learned so far is this community is very advanced in technology. So what if this position could be a backup of memory? So they have machines and computers for storing memories, and in case anything happens to the machines, so they have a backup. I think the receiver of memory can be or it could be a backup or something like that.
Okay. All right. Okay. We don't know yet. We'll learn more about him as we read more chapters. Describe how the receiver of memory is different from the other elders. Ariel?
Let me a second, please.
Okay.
So, okay. So in the auditorium, the elder, the receiver of the elder, no, the receiver of the memory, he was sat down a bit apart of the other elders. He was kind of old man, so a barber with pale eyes. So he was very different to the others. It's the first time the community and Jonas saw him.
Okay, so as we said, he kind of stays and works alone, so not many people have ever seen him. So Jonas had never seen him before, so this was Jonas's first time looking at him. And as you said, he was old and had pale eyes, which Jonas associated with what?
With him.
What
and
did
the
Jonas?
capacity,
Yeah, go ahead.
the capacity of CB John. I don't know.
Okay. Seeing beyond. Okay, remember he thought pale eyes meant you could see deeper. He didn't really know what that meant, but he thought pale eyes had some special ability. And then here the receiver's got pale eyes. It's like, whoa, I've got pale eyes. Maybe I am a receiver, Okay.
It could be a coincidence too, because we don't know what is the physical, the characteristics physical of the old receiver. So we know the old receiver. It was 10 years ago, so it was she, not him. but we don't know she has a pet eyes.
Okay, we don't know. Okay, all right.
So probably it's a coincidence, probably it's not, we don't know.
Okay, we don't know. All right, Vasant?
Yes, but they didn't mention about his outlook in this chapter, but we can assume that he is both physically and mentally strong because he had to undergo a physical pain during his training, and he has to possess some special qualities like wisdom, integrity, intelligence. So he is both mentally and physically strong, I hope.
Okay, very good point. So he's got to have special qualities, smarter than the average bear, and he's got to withstand pain. So he's got to be kind of tough, durable. All right, excellent. Okay, so he kind of stays apart from the other elders. He's the most important of the elders because important rule changes have to be approved by him. We don't really know how old the other elders are, but it looks like this guy is old. And he has pale eyes, which is another difference. And we've learned that he lives and works alone, which right now we don't think the other elders are like that. They go among the community and observe people and decide what assignments are good for them and what volunteer hours they're picking. So the other elders kind of mix with the community, but the receiver for some reason kind of stays alone. We don't know why yet. Okay. And this other question's kind of related to what we've been talking about, but we'll address it specifically. Why do you think the receiver of memory is treated differently than the other elders? Either one of you. Why is he treated differently? Why does he live alone, work alone? Do you have any ideas?
I can guess that, okay, he has to work alone because his position is related to memory. So whatever happens around him might affect his memory. So that's why they let him work alone. Or another possibility is they are purposefully select such lonely guy for that position. But I can't guess what might be the exact reason, but this could be because it's related to his memory, so he has to work alone.
Okay, something about his memory function or memory responsibilities requires him to be kind of alone. We don't really know yet why, but okay. Toriel, anything else?
Well, probably he's the receiver has a lot of information, so need to, he or she needs to think, to memorize, to see, to make a reflection. So when you are making a reflection, you need to spend time with yourself because you are thinking and thinking. So see, something is bothering you, so you can absorb the whole information, or the whole information.
Okay,
So
that's a good point of view. Okay. All right, so that takes care of our assignment 8 questions, and we've got some time. So have you looked at assignment 9 yet?
I did it.
You did not? Okay.
I did it.
You did? Okay, Vasant,
yes,
you?
I did it.
Not yet for Vasant?
No.
Not yet? Okay. Okay. Have you read chapter 9 yet, Vasant?
No, but I'm open. If Toriel can explain it to me, yeah, I'm ready for it.
Okay, I was just looking at the possibility of doing 8 and 9 if you wanted to. So let me look at let's see. So chapter The chapters in the book had no names. So I made up names for the chapters myself. So I named chapter 8, Jonas Gets His Assignment, which isn't really correct. He gets his selection. It's not really an assignment, but I call it that. And number 9, Jonas reads his rules of training. So apparently when you get an assignment in this community, they give you a thick folder that's everything you need to know about that assignment, and all the rules that you have to follow and obey and everything related to your new job. Big thick folders of information. Okay. So let's look at the questions for assignment 9 and see. I hate to spoil this for you. If we talk about it, it may ruin your suspense when you read chapter 9. But it'll give Toriel a good chance to see if she can explain it well enough that you can understand it. Okay, so Toriel, what happened to the previous receiver in training that was like Jonas now?
Can you repeat the question, please?
What happened 10 years ago to the previous receiver in training that was kind of like Jonas now?
Well, actually, no one in the community knows where she is. So just the only thing the community knows is he was a receiver. He was a girl. It was 10 years ago, but nobody speak about. Nobody talk about her. Even her name, it can be naming. Even her name, it cannot be used in the naming list. So something bad happened in the community because it's kind of unspoken rule to talk about the old receiver.
Okay, so 10 years ago, when Jonas was 2, another 12-year-old was selected to be the receiver of memories, just as he has been today. And it was a girl, and something bad happened, apparently. We don't know yet, but they're not even allowed to say her name. They can't even speak her name. So it's like Voldemort in Harry Potter. It is she who shall not be named. Okay, they can't speak her name. So it seems like something really bad happened 10 years ago. So so here Jonas is finding this out. It's like, whoa, something bad happened to that person and I'm doing the same thing, you know? So it could make you a little nervous. Okay. And you can't even use that person's name for a new child. That name can never even be used again. So horrible was whatever happened to her, okay? So that name is basically erased from memory, if you will. All right, so no one knows what happened to her, or they didn't act like they knew what happened to her. Okay. So that's the second question, is what was her name? We don't know. No one's allowed to speak it. Okay. Okay, so the next question is, summarize Jonas's training rules and instructions in his folder. And you can look at your notes if you want to, Toriel.
Well, actually, it's not kind of summary about the rules, but it is about Jonas must present himself at the annex entrance. He can speak about, he, after school, he must go to the annex entrance, and he can go Okay. So,
Okay, so every day he's got to report to training after school.
yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And where does he go for training?
Uh,
Do you remember?
excuse me? What do you say?
Where does he go to be trained to be the new receiver?
He needs to present himself in the annex entrance behind the house of the old.
Okay, so the house of the old is where old people go when they kind of become helpless and need to be taken care of. So behind that house of the old is a little annex. What's an annex, Vasant?
Is that
know
a
what
short form of annexure?
Say again?
Is that a short form of annexure?
It's very similar, okay? An annex. Okay, Tario, do you know what an annex is?
I don't know what is exactly, but I found some definition in dictionary.com, but I don't know exactly what it is. So I can explain because I don't know what it is.
Okay. Vasant has the right idea. To annex means to join. Sometimes a country like Russia will annex Crimea and say, you're a part of me now. You're joined to me. So you can annex a smaller, weaker country and basically take it as part of you. When we're talking about buildings, if I have a building and maybe it's too small and I want to make it larger, I may build another room at the back of the building that's kind of joined to it by a door. I can call that extra room an annex to the building. So any extra structure added to a building can be called an annex. It may be a room, it may be several rooms, it may be a garage, it can be anything, but it's an extra structure that's joined to a larger structure. Okay.
Okay, so is that a space?
Yes,
close to other building, but it's not in the same in the main building. It's an extra room.
Right. It's kind of, and it may or may not have the same entrance. Okay. The annex may be at the back of the building, but it may have its own back entrance. But it's kind of built onto the house of the old, but maybe there's no door from the house of the old into the annex. You have to go in through a separate door to enter the annex. But to look at it from the outside, it looks like one big building with another building built onto it, okay, or connected to it, okay? So every day after school, he has to go to the annex and receive training to be the new receiver, okay? And after training, what does he have to do, Tario?
After training, he must go to home with no stops. So
okay.
It's school, training, and go home.
Okay, so was he happy about that work schedule?
No, he's not happy because he was expecting to spend some time with friends. So is that question he wondered himself, what will happen with my friends? What will happen with my free time, with my, is just school, training, and home.
Okay, so there's no room for anything else. There's no volunteer hours anymore. There's no playtime. It's like study, train, sleep. Study, train, sleep. So he wasn't too crazy about hearing about his routine. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Were there any other rules that applied to him in his new position as receiver in training?
He can make question whatever he wants to anyone. So he has a question for a neighbor or something like that. He can ask, and the other people must answer his question.
Okay, so he can ask any question of anybody and they must answer. And he can
Yeah.
ask rude questions or awkward questions. That's
No.
okay. He's got the power to ask any question. Okay.
Yeah. So it's everything is open to him.
Okay.
It's not about to hide feelings or some thoughts. Is everything is open to him.
Okay. Any other rules that apply to him?
He cannot talk about his training with anyone.
Okay. He cannot discuss his training with anyone.
Mm-mm. He can talk
Okay.
with the friends, with parents, with the other elders. So is just go with the receiver, go to training, and everything you have understood is for yourself.
Okay.
Is you
So,
can speak about.
okay. So presumably everyone else can talk about their new job with each other. Hey, what's your new job? Oh, I'm doing this and I'm doing that and I'm learning this. Jonas, what did you learn today? I can't talk about it. Okay, so that's a little different. So we're starting to see why the receiver somehow stays alone, is you can't talk about your work when you're a receiver. It's confidential, so you can't share. What did you do today? Can't talk about it. What did you learn today? Can't talk about it, So kind of weird. What are some other rules that apply to him?
So he's exempt about that dreaming telling. So he can share anything. So he had a dream, so he can speak about.
Okay, he didn't normally have much to say about dreaming anyway, but now he didn't have to say anything. He was allowed to say, I will not tell my dream, or I didn't dream, but he cannot actually share his dreams anymore.
Yeah,
He's forbidden.
actually, this rule, he feels comfortable with this rule because he can tell everything about his dreaming. So
and he didn't like to share his dreams anyway, right?
Yes.
Okay,
exactly.
the stirrings. Okay, the stirrings. Okay, some other rules.
So other rule is about the medication. So he cannot take the pill. So he is allowed to take out some pill. So he has a sick or injured or something extremely bad to him. But it's no medication for Jonas.
Okay, that relates to his job, right? So he can't take any medicine for any injuries he gets from his job. If he's hurt at school, he's okay. He can do that.
No, I can guess because he's a new receiver. So he can receive the old memories from the other people. So he can take the medicine, he can forget everything that he learned the previous day. So he can take the medicine.
Okay, so
but sorry, but
ahead,
I can guess what this rule means, because he is going to experience some physical pain during his training, I think. So uses painkiller, that's against the rule, right? So if you
Right.
got injured in your school, then that's okay, but you cannot apply this to your training,
Okay.
I think.
And initially he thought like Tariel, gee, no medicine at all? Oh my God. But then he thought about it and read the rule again. And can you read this paragraph of Vasant? This is what he thought about.
Okay. Rereading rule number 6, he realized that a crushed finger fell into the category of unrelated to training. So if it ever happened again, and he was quite certain it wouldn't, he had been very careful near heavy doors since the accident. He could still receive medication. The pill he took now each morning was also unrelated to training. Continued to receive the pill, but he remembered uneasily what the chief elder had said about the pain that would come with his training.
So you're right. If it's a school injury or some routine injury, he can take medicine. But if it's injury from his training, no medicine, which is what Tariel said. Okay. We don't know why yet, but that's just the rule. Okay. All right. Any other rules, Tariel?
Okay. He doesn't apply for release, and he doesn't apply for release, to being released.
Okay. He's not allowed to apply for release.
No, it's not going to happen because he's a receiver. So he's going to apply to a release. It don't mean the community doesn't have a receiver of memories.
Okay, so he's pretty much stuck in that community with that position forever. Okay. Any other rules?
He may lie.
Oh, he can lie. He's got permission to lie. That's a strange rule there, isn't it? That shocked him. Okay, why did that rule shock him?
Because in the early age, the kids have learned not to lie at the age of 4, I think.
Okay, so lying's a big taboo, right?
Yes, actually, it's when they are in training, when it's in training, when the training for the speaking, or the speech, or the speaking, I think.
Okay. All right. So, so which receiver's rule bothered him the least? Which rule was he okay with? Do you remember?
He is okay with not telling the dreams.
Okay. All right.
But bother, I think it was the lie, and let me check my.
Okay, lying bothered him the most, you mean?
I don't know. I feel confused about it because it's about the lie thing, but the other thing is that break the rules. Well, actually, he breaks the rules when he's lying.
Okay, so so it said in the text that the prohibition of dream telling, he thought that's not a problem. I don't like to tell my dreams. Now I don't have to. So that's good. So he didn't have a problem with that. Not asking to be released. He didn't have a problem with that because he's thinking, why would I want to ask to be released? That's a horrible punishment. So he can't ask for release. He was okay with that. Okay. But the medicine for all this pain he's going to be feeling and lying, those things kind of bothered him quite a bit. Okay. All right. It talks about an incident that happened in Asher's childhood. This was discussed at the ceremony of 12s, if you remember. Yvonne, do you remember the incident in Asher's childhood that was the smacks versus snacks incident?
Yes, yes.
Can you describe what that's about?
So this guy, Asher, right, has had some problem. I don't know what exactly, but it's like dyslexia or something like this. he often mess similar sounding words, and the word which he messed in that time was snack, which means some food, something. What can you eat? But instead of that, he asked for smack, smack, right? Which is just a hit. And this community kind of strict about language, and it's important for them that you would express yourself literally. And when he asked for smack, he received smacked, but he would not fix the mistake instantly and repeat again and again, and it goes on went on for some time. So
Okay.
I don't think that it's a good way to teach children.
Okay. How did they smack him? Did they smack him with a hand, or do you remember how they smacked him?
I'm not sure, but I can remember that they have some special sticks for that, something teachers how it's sign, right? Teacher status.
Okay. Tario, do you remember what they smacked a child with?
I think it was a kind of a stick. It's kind
Okay.
of thin
Okay.
stick, that discipline. Something
Okay.
similar to the magicians. So thing
Okay.
that
Okay. They call it the discipline wand.
yes, one.
Probably a stick, whap, ow, maybe a little shock. I don't know. I can't remember. All right. We've talked about his new work schedule already. School, training, home. Okay. No time to play. All
Welcome.
work. Go ahead.
Welcome to life of adults.
All work and no play makes
Jake, or someone, a dull guy, a dull boy.
All right. All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. That's a saying we have. He's not interested. He's bored and, no motivation. So all work and no play makes you very dull and no motivation, no interest in life. It's just boring. All right, good. Okay, so Tauriel, how did Jonas's selection as receiver in training change his outlook on life? Did he feel his life was going to get better or get worse or be happier?
Well, I think he's happy. He will be the most important person in the community, but he's very worried about spend time alone, apart of the friends and family. So it's kind of okay. That's all my comment.
Okay, Vasanth, what about you? Any other ways that being receiver might affect his outlook on life or his happiness in the community? Or
No, I hope Jonas will survive with his task. So yes, he is capable. He has the capacity for that. So
okay, so he's starting to think he's qualified. I think I can do this. I'm not too crazy about the pain part, but I can see beyond. I think I can do this. Okay. I've got to live and work alone. Was he happy about that?
He's not happy with that.
Okay.
So I think he can break the rules, but it's something hard to him because he always did the right thing. He never broke the rules, and now he is allowed to break the rules. So it's kind of contradiction of Jonas' life.
Is he breaking the rules, or does he simply have new rules?
Well, it's new rules for Jonas.
Okay, so he's not breaking his rules.
He's not breaking any rules.
Okay,
but he was, he was living in another way. So suddenly he's changed everything.
Okay, he's
So
got
it's
more
kind of,
freedom in a way. Okay,
yes, it's kind of contradiction.
okay. So he can lie, but for him, that's not breaking the rules because that's his new rule. He can lie. Other people may not have that rule. So if they lie, they're breaking the rule, but he can lie and he's not breaking the rule. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. What are the implications of Genesis rule number 8? You may lie. Let me have Vasanth tackle this one. So Vasanth, you've been raised your whole life. You cannot lie. You cannot lie. You cannot lie. You become 12. And now you get a piece of paper that says you may lie. This is you as a person. You can now lie now that you're 12. What are the implications of learning that that rule is now your rule? What would you
I
think
think
about that?
yes, it would be very hard for a person who has been raised without uh, not allowed to lie in his childhood. So it's really hard for him. Uh, for Jonas, I hope Jonas would not lie, but he will try to how to say that he can be quiet instead of speaking lie. So I think that would be the best option for him.
Okay, but what are the implications? What does that imply about the community, the society, the people around you? Oh, gee, I can lie. Shh. Nobody knows I can lie. What are the implications of that? What was he thinking? What do you think he was thinking when he read that rule?
Uh,
Any idea?
no, I don't. I have no idea.
Okay, but Tario, do you remember what he was thinking when he read that rule?
I don't remember as well. So
Okay.
I had a hint, but I wouldn't like to talk. See, I'm not sure what I'm thinking. So you have a
Okay.
hint, so you'll be fine.
Okay, Yvonne, you want to tackle that one? You suddenly turn 12 and you get a little private note that says, "Psst, you can lie from now on." What would you start wondering about your lifestyle and your community?
Well, I definitely would try that many times in different forms, in different forms. So it's kind of a provocation, I think. I don't remember why they made this rule. Maybe to protect all the secrets. But I think it really looks like a provocation. It's like a give some dangerous toy to the boy and say don't play it. It doesn't work.
Okay, on page 31, the last paragraph of the chapter, actually. Toriel, could you read that for me, please? It's the last paragraph in the chapter. It's in the chat area. Or Vasanth. Vasanth, I'll let you read it while Toriel's doing whatever here.
Okay. Now Jonas had a thought that he had never had before. This new thought was frightening. What if adults had, upon becoming 12s, received in their instructions the same terrifying sentence? What if they had all been instructed, "You may lie"? His mind reeled to ask questions of utmost rudeness and promised answers he could conceivably, though it was almost unimaginable, ask someone, some adult, his father perhaps, "Do you lie?" But he would have no way of knowing if the answer he received were true.
So now he's entered real life society, right? He can ask any question. Dad, do you lie to me? Of course not, son. Are you lying to me now? Of course not, son. So suddenly he's wondering, do all adults have this secret rule that they can lie to everybody? In that case, no adult has to tell him the truth. So his whole paradigm about the adult society has now changed. Before, he believed everything they said. Now he realizes they could all be lying to me, and I wouldn't know. So that kind of shocked him right there. It's like, whoa, do they have this rule too? But we don't know, okay? Is it just the receiver that can lie, or can all adults lie? It's a good question. Okay, our time is up. So we will stop here. We have a couple more questions. We'll do those next class and then go into chapter 10, okay?
Okay.
All right. Thank you very much for your attendance. And as usual, if you want to write a summary of any chapter for grammar correction, let me know and submit it to me. Otherwise, also try to learn the yellow vocabulary. Okay?
Thank you very much, Teacher Lee, for this class.
Okay. All right.
Thank
We'll see you
you.
next class.
See you next time. Bye-bye.